So in this video I'm going to be working with Trojan, teaching him how to go over obstacles. I have done one session before where he's been taught how to go over a carpet, so we find that we like to start with the smaller, easier obstacles, and then obviously that makes it easier when you start going into the bigger obstacles. But the reason obstacle training is quite important for us is because we find it's very important for teaching them how to truck load and lots of other things in their life. So it sets them up. It's the smaller steps that lead to the bigger questions later on. So I start off here just lunging him each direction. He gets a little bit stuck here, and I just have to put a little bit more pressure on him, just because he's at the stage now where he's lunged enough that he knows the correct answer well enough. And then in the moment he gets the answer right, you can see that I drop my energy and take the pressure off. And so it's super important when I'm doing obstacle training that they are lunging and I have got control of their front and hind end because of how I ask them to navigate the obstacle. So I try to avoid just leading them to the obstacle and then pulling them onto it, because you can end up just having a bit of a tug of war with them. Here you can see I've just moved my feet now so that I take the circle slightly wider out, and now he's come to a stop in front of the obstacle, which is a wooden bridge. When you're doing obstacle training, it's really important that the obstacle you're using is really solid and safe, because you don't want them to slip or go through the wood or give themselves a fright. So what I've done here is every time he starts to show or move towards the correct answer, I soften the pressure off. So there I pointed, which was me gesturing that I wanted him to go forward, and he started to move his body movement onto the bridge. Every time I get a really positive answer like that where he starts to pour at it, I then take them away. So that taking them away part is really important. If you just keep them in that unknown and keep the pressure on too much, their brain can switch off and they can really struggle. But if you just buffer that unknown, wait until they give you a positive response and then give them a break, they get so much more of a positive finish. So here he wants to investigate it. If they want to sniff or look at it or pour it, that's all really positive stuff. There, he's put a foot onto it. I could get greedy and ask for more, but I literally take that as a, yep, that's an improvement from the time before, fantastic answer. So I'm kind of playing hot cold. So as they get hotter, when they're starting to move towards that perfect answer, I'm saying, yes, that's great, awesome, and then I take them away from the obstacle as a release of pressure. So because he's quite happy to investigate there, I just let him stay on it. He obviously hopped off it and technically didn't do the question right, but again, I'm wanting him to move towards the perfect answer. So my end goal for him, and this isn't always the case, sometimes horses aren't ready to give you that perfect answer, but the end goal would be that he can walk up onto it and walk all the way along it. So there, he had a bit of a green moment where halfway across he rushed and then popped off the right side. I don't tell him off for that. I just say, yep, that was actually better than the time before. If it wasn't better than the time before, I would correct him and show him what I needed from him. But you can see very quickly he's getting a huge amount of improvement over a very short amount of time. There he's wanting to investigate, so I'll give him that time, and then as soon as he lifts his head and starts looking around, I know that he's ready to be asked. And then I just do a turn on the forehand to finish. But to me, that was a super, super cool finish because he was very confident to go all the way through. But because I broke it down into really small pieces, it makes it so much easier for his brain rather than me just going up to it and making him walk across the first time. That becomes quite overwhelming.